Anything to escape the real world.
In the great game of survival, this is checkmate.
Like many of your other fantastic movies, you get to build a whole new world in this one. Why do you find that so attractive?
Because anything to escape the real world, anything to get away from. No, it's serious. I mean, I've always liked movies that are escapism. Alfred Hitchcock had a quote which I have taken on as my own life quote, which is he says, "Some people's movies are slices of life, mine are slices of cake." and I, when as soon as I read that quote years and years ago, I thought, wow, that's exactly how my brain works. I want to go to the movies to get away from our existence today in today's world. So whether it's going backwards in time into a Tolkien world or forwards into the Mortal Engines world, anything that's just not now, it's not today.
Any work of great imagination, which is what both The Lord of the Rings and Mortal Engines is, gives you that chance to escape and to imagine yourself in there. But to do that, you have to identify with the characters.
How is it knowing that an iconic filmmaker like Peter Jackson is part of this?
It's very exciting, a bit overwhelming to begin with, and then you kind of get to know them and Peter and Fran and Philippa and Christian and everyone, and you kind of go, they're just normal people and making movies, and they've created this kind of like movie haven in New Zealand in a way. They have all these amazing people, crew, and they have been working together for such a long time. Yeah. So they're kind of like this really well-oiled machine.
How was he on set?
Kind of a pleasant uncle who'd wander in barefoot with a shirt with tea stains down the front of it, just going, yeah, I think
which
we're
was
going to just
awesome,
do that.
Such a relaxed environment, such a friendly, it's his home.
In repose,
He's at home, and it's really cool because it just completely takes the tension out of the room because he's at home where he is, and so then you feel, I'm at home. We're at home. Kick your shoes off.
And he's such a, like I say, down-to-earth guy, and it was just fun and
it was hilarious.
A cool experience.
It was hilarious, and also it was he ended up shooting a lot of my action scenes on second unit, and he would switch it all up on the spot. He would get great ideas. It was amazing to watch him.
And then he acts it all out, right?
Yeah, he acts it all out.
And then you're trying to do exactly what
and
Peter
he's really
did.
good.
Okay.
I mean, he can play all of these characters.
I know, but it's a little bit different take, though. A little bit different on Anna or on Hester to have Peter play.
We can't actually copy him.
No, of course.
That would be odd.
I definitely tried to, though, at some point, and it didn't work out.
I wish I could see that.
I know. Well, I saw it it was a scene. I saw it in the edit, and then I was like, and Fran, we were watching it. Fran Walsh, his wife and writer and producer, and she was just like, it's a bit different. It's not really Hester, is it? And I was like, it's Peter. I genuinely was trying to do what Peter did.
What happens when you find Hester Shaw? I will kill her.
He's here.
Hugo, how was it working with Peter Jackson again?
Well, it was intermittent, really, because he's very much in the background, but you feel it's certainly his domain. But primarily working with Christian was the major new element for me. Going back to Wellington, although we were in Peter's territory, it was Christian who I was interfacing with every day. And so that was delightful. And I think for all of them, this project was a completely different world from Middle-earth, completely different set of values and set of completely different system, different characters. So they had to start again to realize a completely different place. And that was a challenge for everyone.
You and Peter Jackson go way back. How did it all start?
Well, it started when I was a young teenager who was looking for a job and had no sort of prospects of working, none of the job prospects that were out there for me were anything I was interested in, and I wanted to work in film, and I read about this director down in Wellington who had made a film called Bad Taste. I'd seen Bad Taste, and I thought, well, here's someone making these films with all these special effects and blood and body parts flying everywhere. It seemed, I've got to get in touch with him. So, yeah, I wrote him a letter with a whole lot of my drawings, pretty much every drawing I'd ever drawn, and and then he was kind enough to call me back. Peter was originally going to direct it. He got the rights back in 2007, and he got Weta Workshop and to do a whole lot of designs. And he hired an Italian CG artist called Marco Spatoni to come out and start doing some previs. And then I worked with Marco a little bit, sort of working on some of the previs in between other films I was working on at the time. And then, Peter got busy with The Hobbit, and I got busy with other things, and then it sort of became, is Mortal Engines ever going to happen? It's just kind of sitting in a cupboard somewhere, and then. Yeah, so it was almost 8 years, and then Peter called me up and said, hey, so we're running out of time on Mortal Engines, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that, and he said, well, would you like to direct it? And yeah, and here we are.
I knew you wouldn't leave me.
Shut up and run.